Welcome back. So, still dealing with all of this in my system. But August was quite a stacked month when it came to music. There was a lot of albums that dropped, and a lot of them were really, really good. This is probably one of the most stacked months I think of the year. There's been a few of them, honestly. In general, this year's been pretty great. But we're gonna go through this really quick because I'm not feeling all that well. So we'll start off with Magdalena Bay with Imaginal Disc. Just some really great synth pop. It's just super textured. It's super futuristic feeling, and it has these really just groovy and psychedelic moments. And overall, it's just one of my favorite records of the year. It just sounds so fantastic. It sounds so polished and so clean. And I've played this album like 4 or 5 times in a row. I was at work and I played it like 2 or 3 times. Fantastic record. Fontaines DC. This is my first record that I've experienced from them. It's titled Romance. Now, this is kind of falling into more of that. It almost feels like this 90s alt rock aesthetic that feels a little bit grungy, feels a little bit rough around the edges. But what I really like about this record is that it just has these great soaring hooks and some just the tone and the atmosphere of this album is really something you can get enveloped in and get lost in. Here's the Thing is one of my favorite songs of the year. It just has this kind of throwback, kind of 90s style to it, but it has a little bit of those modern sensibilities that makes it just really pop. And then we have Pompoko with Champion. This album kind of has this bedroom pop slash rock kind of feel and almost has this summery kind of feel to it as well. It has this cheery kind of atmosphere and tone to it, especially with the female vocalist on here. But it's just some really fun, really not so serious, really just catchy pop rock and bedroom rock, whatever you want to call it. Really great album. It's going to go under the radar for a lot of people, but I think you should definitely check it out. OCs with Sorks 80. They're the OCs. OCs. There's so many names for this band now. But Sorks 80 is my second introduction to this band. And if you're looking for some great garage rock, some great psychedelic rock, there is some amazing, amazing tracks on here. I think of Termination Officer as an example. There's so many great tracks on here, and there's some parts of it, honestly, that remind me a little bit of Queens of the Stone Age, like the really old Queens of the Stone Age, that it does sound a little bit kind of just dirgy, a little bit more kind of grunge, like dirt in the nails kind of feeling to it, but it just has this kind of swagger to it and this really rambunctious energy that I think really works well for the project. Biabadooey, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is How Tomorrow Moves. This is my first introduction to Biabadooey. And this is, again, just some really great pop rock kind of going into that punk sound, especially towards the second half, kind of towards the middle. This album does really pick up its stride and really tries out a bunch of different things. While at the beginning of the album, it can feel a little bit formulaic and kind of predictable, I think she really spreads her creative wings on the second half of This How Tomorrow Moves, and it really pays off in spades. Raven Lene with Bird's Eye, one of the catchiest R&B pop records of the entire year. Raven Lene has such a distinctive voice, brings on some amazing collaborators like Childish Gambino and Ty Dolla $ign. And if you're looking for some of the catchiest songs of the year that overall just have this sun-soaked, sunset, any kind of setting in the summer, this is a perfect album for that. Genius, the first track, is probably one of my favorites of the year. It's fantastic. JPEG Mafia, I Laid Down My Life for You. My current rap album of the year. Just really crazy, more kind of metal and rock oriented production this time around that really pays off for JPEG Mafia, especially. This is also, I feel like, JPEG Mafia's most introspective album when it comes to talking about religion and relationships. I think there is a lot more layers to this record that other JPEG Mafia records may have explored, but I feel like this is the most intimate and the most revealing that I think JPEG Mafia has been in these kind of topics. So I really do enjoy that. And lastly, it's Mavi with Shadowbox. If you're looking for that really amazing, that lo-fi, just underground kind of rap music, Mavi with Shadowbox is fantastic. And one of my favorite songs of the year is Tether. Just the really wonky, wavy, and just really just syrupy kind of beats that are all over this record. And Mavi just really works his way through and has a really great voice for rap and a really great voice for these instrumentals. So I think I got through all of those. Those are my favorite albums of August. There is a lot of great records. I will say, Raven Lenae is in my top 10. JPEG Mafia is in my top 10. And I think Magdalena Bay is somewhere in the 15 or 20 range. So far, I have about 45 albums. My goal at the end of the year is to get to a top 75 and make a whole video top 75 albums of the year. That's my goal. So that's a whole bunch of them. So what are your thoughts? Is there any albums I missed? I was going to throw the Nick Cave album on here as well, but I had to listen to that a couple more times, even though that record is absolutely fantastic. But leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave some recommendations for some albums, and I hope you all have a good night and stay healthy.